What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to episode 59 of the U.S.S. Enterprise D tutorial. I'm Zero Elite, and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping us and supporting the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Today we got about a 19-minute episode. We're going to be trying to wrap up our Battlebridge, and we're just going to be jumping right into this thing. We're going to be throwing down our chairs. We're using the smooth sandstone for the chair. I talked about this in previous episodes because I'm sure somebody will probably ask why did I just use sandstone instead of the white terracotta, because it is more of a cream color that matches next gen. And when we get into building the bridge, you'll see what I mean. Like, I actually did start to convert to that, and then I just decided that the texture of it, I didn't like how it looked. Now, if they had a flat cream with no texture to it, just like the terracotta, I think it's more likely I probably would have switched to that. But for that main reason of it having that pixelated sand on there, I just kind of decided against it and was like, well, I think the white terracotta in this case looks a little bit better. And at this point, we're just kind of cleaning up the flooring here just a little bit. That looks pretty good. I think we're going to run with that instead. And we've got to do blue on the corners. This way it matches going all the way around. We'll come back and do gray carpet on top of that. That looks pretty good. One thing I wish they actually had on Minecraft is railing, like actual railing. There's mods on PC that you can get it, but I'm really trying to make a point not to use mods, because now I've got a gaming computer, like it's calling my name, like to do mods and stuff. But really, like, my main focus I set out to do on this channel was build these ships using the base game, so anybody could do this. Because really, like, my whole entire build that I'm doing here, I'm using the base game. The only exception that I make is when we use the pixel pack or the grid pixel pack, which you can get in the Minecraft store. It's like $5. And if you haven't gotten it and you like how, like, the back screen looks in the back, we'll look at it in a second. If you haven't if I haven't heard me talking about it before, it really helps with the computer screens. Yeah, see right there, that right there, that's from the grid pixel pack, and you don't see me using it very often. um, but it was worth the $5 just to get that detail in there. Now we're going to clean up this back here just a little bit, and that's really what today is going to be, just kind of cleaning up the current shape that we have and making it look just a little bit prettier. The base design is here, and of course, going along the roof here, along the corners and along the edge, we're going to do half slabs. Now, and I did mention this before, we are going to come back in a future episode. I haven't even done this yet. Um, and we're going to be redoing the ceiling, because I noticed this on an episode of Next Generation that kind of has like a dome look a little bit on the ceiling. And that's going to be something that I really want to try to convey. And I've got the room above me to do it. So I figure I might as well just go for it. But we're not going to be getting into that today. That'll be the very last thing that we do. One thing that I think would look kind of good here is the edge off the sides here, going along well, not necessarily the sides, but pretty much the corners and the outline of our bridge, at least along the back side here, to give it just a little bit more definition. That's something I like to do in my ships. To each his own, but for me anyway, I try to make my ships look as pretty as possible and as close as possible. You're spending all this time building the ship out, might as well just go all out. There's no sense in building this ginormous ship and for one, then for two, not trying to make it accurate, and then for three, getting into detailing. I think what we're going to do there is just do the fence one back. That could work. So this way we still at least kind of have it, you know what I mean? I could have done half slabs there, but I don't know if the half slabs would have looked as nice. because the Battlebridge is more of a retro look, because it is just a redress of a Constitution class bridge. Yeah, I think we're gonna make this going straight across. We might even make that curve out. We're gonna get the fence one more time, just to bring it all the way down. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like how that looks. Now we're pretty much right on the cusp of what the screenshot looks like. Not too crazy about those corners right there, but there's not that much that I can do about it. I think the main goal here is when you walk into this room, does it look like the Battle Bridge? And I think it looks pretty close. Not perfect. Like I said, I think detailing the roof here, we're pretty much going to go along the edge here like we did below us. But giving the roof a little bit more of a dome in a future episode, I think that'll help out a little bit with bringing the room together. You know what? Might as well just bring this line going all the way around, going with the cut line. And we got one more. There we go. Now we're looking pretty good. That gray line directly above us, we're going to have to take that out, I think. Maybe. And we got to take out that sea lantern. I've already got on that side. Okay. We're in pretty good shape. I'm really liking how this room came out. I totally jumped the gun on this. I was like, I don't know why. I just got the feeling at this point in the build. I was like, I really want to build the battle bridge. This thing like is going to look awesome. Like, I don't know why. I was always fascinated by the battle bridge in Next Generation. I thought it was a pretty cool concept, you know, and I really liked that touch. It made total sense, you know. And now we're just cleaning up the roof here a little bit. Of course, we gotta go back. We gotta grab some sea lanterns. Moving forward, we still have a ton of stuff to work on for this interior because that's really what we're going to be moving into going forward at this point. Pretty much the entire exterior of the ship is done except for the exterior portion of the main bridge, which we're going to mess with that later on. Um, but pretty much other than that and small detailing, we're pretty much going to focus on the interior. And there's a whole lot to cover. So with that being said, if there's any rooms that you want to see me add on the Enterprise, now is the time to ask me, because sure people have probably gotten tired of hearing this. In this middle block right here, we're going to switch that to white terracotta. At this point, I was going to have the split with the gray, but I decided the terracotta looks better. But no, you know, if there's anything that you want to see me add in this ship, please drop a comment below. Let me know what rooms you want to see me add on the Enterprise D while I'm still working on it, because once I move on to the next ship, that's it. We're calling this thing done, and we're not going to be coming back to it. Yeah, see, from this side here, those cream doors look good, but then the side here, the left side, like it bleeds into it, so you lose these lines going around. Right now, I'm just kind of cruising, checking out the blocks that we have available to us. But a spoiler, what we're going to end up using is the orange. Yeah, see, that's not going to work. That looks like doo-doo. Literally, looks like doo-doo. We're not doing that. Yeah, I don't remember if it was in this episode. It might have been that we do the doors. It might be a future episode. If it is a future episode, don't hold it against me. Some of this build is a blur because this has been a 6-month process getting this ship up to snuff to getting the interior going. This is one of the reasons, I said in the past I was afraid of doing the Enterprise D because I knew the undertaking that was going to be, and I've really been trying to make a point to do this ship justice. And it's a massive ship, so it was going to take some time, and that was one of the reasons why I kind of stayed away from building it. And I for the longest time, I had people asking me, "When are you going to do the Enterprise D? When are you going to do the Enterprise D?" And that's why I waited, because I knew that it was just going to be a really long build. And that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with it, with the length of time that's going to take. But, at this point, we're in it, and we're just going to keep working on this thing until we're done. But of course, we got some cool stuff coming on the channel as well. We've got the Voyager build, which is probably definitely more than likely going to be my next build. Still don't want to commit to anything until we get towards the end of this thing, where we're really starting to prep for that ship. But I've had so many people ask me for Voyager that it's pretty much a guarantee at this point. That's what it's going to be. And going forward after that, as we get closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be building the 2016 Star Trek Beyond Enterprise A, because that was probably my #2 build request. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, that's when we're going to do that build. I'm actually really looking forward to that, because that's something I promised people I was going to do for a while, but keep an eye out for that. And I haven't talked about this. I need to get everything set. I want to try to have everything up and ready to go next week for my Discord channel. And the Discord channel is going to be really cool, because it's going to be an easier way for me to keep in touch with people on my channel, to give you updates on if I'm going to be taking any breaks, when new seasons are coming out, all that good stuff. And one of the coolest things about that is that you're going to be able to share your builds with me and the community on this channel, which will be awesome, because this will be able to help other people grow their channels as well. And on top of that, and get exposure. And on top of that, anybody that's having trouble on a build, it'll give me an extra resource to where I can actually see what you're looking at a little bit more. So don't be surprised if you're asking me questions on a build and I ask you if you're on my Discord, I tell you to join it. That's probably going to be a reason why. So this way I can get an idea of what you're working with, to actually see it. Because a lot of the time, well, all the time, when I'm giving people suggestions that get stuck on the build, I can't see what you're working on. I'm only able to go off of what you're telling me. So sometimes that can be a trial and error period. And I've gotten decent at explaining what to do, but having Discord available is just going to be a fantastic resource, and I'm really looking forward um, to having that. Now, I do want to get into this a little bit, what we got going on here. You can see that we're deleting blocks here down at the deflector dish. You need to be very careful with this and just be cautious in what you're deleting here, because this main deck, or bottom deck, this is as low as we can go. I don't know if you know the limbo, how low can you go? This is as low as we can go. This was one of the things I actually had a little bit of a problem with, and one of the reasons why I'm building it now, this lowest part of the deck, is because I was having trouble figuring out what I was going to do. Because what I really wanted to do is I wanted to have a main shaft going all the way up the neck and down the lower hull, which sounds easier than it really is, especially on the Enterprise D, because the angle that the lower hull goes at, it became virtually impossible to have this going down the entire ship from neck to lower hull to the bottom. So that's what we're stopping at the point we're at now, because we're as far back as we can go going upward, and we're as far back as we can go down on the lower side as well. But we're going to make it work. It'll work out just fine. And this main deck is, well, this bottom deck is going to be the main engineering deck. So we're just kind of getting a little bit of prep work to get into that in some of these future episodes, where we'll be building out engineering, which I think is going to be really cool. I think everybody's going to be really happy with how engineering comes out. And I'm just beside myself right now because I'm finally being able to show off some of this stuff that I've been working on for the past couple of months because I've been done with the outside of the ship for a while. Um, I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head. I want to say the end of February was when I put the teaser up for the Enterprise D, and that's when, as soon as I finished the outside, um, which is like virtually right where we're at now, right before we built the Battlebridge. That's when I put that video up. So since February, I've been done with the outside of it, and I've been working on the interior. Um, and you'll see why, because a lot of this is just absolutely massive. Now, it's not going to take as long in the videos as it was for me to building this in real time because I've taken uh, intermittent breaks here and there to kind of get, recharge and plan things out a little bit. That's one of the rules I go by. Take your time, plan things out, because if you take your time, you're more likely to have a much more fleshed out build. Now, as you can see, I'm going deck to deck, just going up from our bottom point here. Just be careful what you're deleting. Now, we're going to have some access here, so we can play around a little bit to add some extra rooms, but we need to be careful, is what I'm getting at here. And my main focus right now is just facading out every single deck. Not necessarily to flesh it out, because what I really like doing on my ships, um, for the turbo lift, I like to build that facade out because that's basically as good as we're going to get as far as building or having a full on turbo lift. I've seen other ways of people doing it. I think this looks the coolest as you go deck to deck. Every single one of them has an actual deck room, whether we actually flesh that out or not. It helps to make the ship look the ship a little bit bigger than it might actually be. And at this point, we're just literally going off the same template for the top portion of our turbo lift, and we're just repeating that same process on every single deck. I could be wrong. I have to go in and actually check out my next couple of screen captures. But I think next week we're getting into the shuttle bay. Well, some of the shuttle bays. We're going to start working on the primary, secondary, and tertiary shuttle bays, which is pretty cool. One of the things I like about the Enterprise D is that she's got multiple shuttle bays on her. It'll be cool though. Once this thing is done, you'll have a full range tutorial going over all this stuff on building all these rooms out. And I think this is probably going to be the longest tutorial I ever do, hands down. Because I'm pretty certain if I ever do like the Enterprise E, I probably won't build it this big. Um, I could be wrong. We'll see how we feel when we get there, but I'm kind of like leaning towards the point of that um, the scale that I had going before, like with my Constitution class. That might be the range I want to stay in, so I can build these ships in a faster period of time. The only thing that might stop me from doing that is, like with example the Enterprise D, is that it's not very accurate in the proportion of the two ships. So that's something we're going to play by ear. We'll kind of see what happens with that. But I'm kind of at this point, I'm leaning towards um, building the Enterprise E smaller if and when that does happen. I don't want to promise anything now. The Enterprise E isn't anything that's currently on my schedule of builds. Right now, the only things I'm currently looking at is, of course, Voyager and the 2016 Enterprise A when we hit 1,000. Um, but if it kind of creeps along a little bit and takes us a little bit of time to get to 1,000, then there's going to be other ships that we're going to be doing after Voyager. So keep that in mind. Let me know what ships you want to see me do, and we'll kind of go from there. But I think that's a pretty good spot for us to stop at today. Our ship is starting to come together as far as our structure of our interior. You can see we're going to have a ton of room here to play with, not only for fleshing out or secondary shuttle bay on this side and the tertiary on the other side. Then also the multiple engineering decks on top of the deflector dish control room down in the lower hull. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up today. I just want to thank everybody again for tuning in today's episode. If there's any ships you want to see me build, if there's any rooms you want to see me add on the Enterprise D, or just dropping in to say hey, or you have questions, be sure to drop a comment below. I'm usually pretty responsive in the comment section. I'll try to help you out if I can. And of course, don't forget to tune in to my Minecraft videos dropping Tuesdays through Thursdays. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope everybody has a happy and safe weekend. And of course, what did you make today in Minecraft? Let me know in the comments section.